Gold and gold stocks have been smacked down hard. So what should investors do about it? I'm Biko Konstantinos, and that's what we're going to consider today. Before we get started, if you enjoy this content, please take the time to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I've been following and investing in gold stocks for probably about 30 years now. One thing I've learned during that period is that gold stocks and the gold sector, they really run on sentiment. When sentiment's favorable to the sector, prices can run really hard and really fast. However, when gold stocks are out of favor, it can seem that all the positive news in the world is discounted and prices fall lower and lower. This often produces extremes where gold stocks can become overvalued at times, and at other times they can become way undervalued as well. And they're as they get sold down to extreme levels. So part of this volatility is what attracts me to the gold sector. Yes, I know it can suck when we have smackdowns like we just recently did, but the volatility can also create amazing buying opportunities, and sometimes real quality gold stocks can be sold at for extreme bargains, so very, very cheap. And sometimes there's amazing buying opportunities because of this volatility. So today I'm going to look at this recent smackdown, and I'm going to consider where to from here for gold stocks. And to do that, we're going to firstly have a look at some charts. Now, to get a bit of a lay on the land of gold stocks, there's three main charts that I like to analyze. The first chart is the Huey, which is a fairly equally weighted basket of unhedged large gold stocks. So this is the chart of the Huey. As we can see, since the high around August 2020, it's been in a bit of a downtrend, currently sitting close to this 240 level, which could become a bit of a support level. If it does break down, it could also become a bit of a resistance level. It's very close to that pre-COVID level. So that 240 is a bit of an important level to watch going forward for the Huey. The next stock I analyze, the next index I like to analyze is the Philadelphia Gold and Silver Index, and it has the code XAU. So as you can see with this index, what it measures is a market capitalization weighted index of gold and silver stocks. So what that means is the larger capitalized stocks, they have a much larger weighting for this index. So the top four would represent, the top four market capitalized gold stocks would represent a large weighting in regards to this index. So it hasn't come down as much, probably for that weighting reason. It isn't as low as pre-COVID levels here, which was around about that 110 marks, currently trading around about 123. So it's not as representative of the overall gold stock market, but it's certainly good to have a look at. Now, the last index I like to analyze is the Van Eck Gold Miners ETF, and it has the code of GDX. So this index has a mix of small, medium, and large gold mining companies. So it does give you a good representation of the overall sentiment, especially because it contains that mix of both high capitalized gold stocks as well as some of the smaller ones and the medium ones. So it gives you a really good representation. So looking at this chart, we can see that this level of support slash resistance, currently around about the $31 mark, is quite significant. So you can see here that resistance was hit prior to COVID, and then right before COVID, before the stocks all got sold off. And then as we came up, that became a support. So as you can see, price went down to the support and kept going from there. And on the way down, it's come down to that same level between 30 and 31, tried to rise again, but has now come down again. And this latest smackdown, as we said, with a gap sell and coming down, that's just what's happened this last week. So this is Thursday's trading, and this was Friday's trading. So looking at the chart, it's at that critical sort of support level going forward. Will stocks in general bounce from this area? Will it provide more support, or will they fall through that support level and continue downwards? So that's the question I guess we need to ask ourselves. As I said before, the gold sector is very sentiment driven. When she's running hot, everyone wants a piece of it. But when she's sort of running cold, then no one really gives two hoots about this sector when they're looking for other sectors, other better returns. They don't think they need gold stocks in their portfolios, whatever the reasons are. Sometimes just can't seem to get a break for those investors in gold stocks. Let's have a look at the gold price. In one of my previous videos, we talked about the potential of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So the price has basically come down to this neckline that we were talking about. So this is the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. So for this pattern to actually be successful, the price would need to stay around this vicinity and start pushing up. If the price trades down close to this head, then basically that pattern is off because it wouldn't be a true head and shoulders pattern, because the right shoulder doesn't need to become to the same sort of place that the left shoulder, same sort of vicinity that the left shoulder traded at. Now plotting our support line on the gold chart at this pre-COVID level, around about that 1680, we can see that that resistance turned into support after COVID, so after the rally. Huge spike upwards. Now, since then, that level of support has been hit once, twice, 3 times. So will the price come back to this level? At the moment, it's still a fair way above. So it's still trading currently at around 1750. So will it drop back down to around about that 1680 level? Time will tell. But one thing we do notice when comparing gold stocks to the gold price, both the Huey and the GDX, so both the Huey and the GDX, which give us a good representation of the entire gold stock sector, they're currently trading around that pre-COVID level. So in comparison to the gold price, they're already here, whereas gold is up here. So that creates a bit of a divergence, and it might actually, cause us to think that participants in the market are expecting this gold price to fall down to this level, or possibly even further, the way that gold stocks have been trading lately. So let's have a look at that. I think one of the biggest frustrations for gold believers is that they might have invested into gold stocks anticipating a strong gold price, anticipating strength in the sector. And when they look at the overall environment, pretty much everything points to what you would think would support the gold price and would support the gold stock would support the gold sector in general. There are so many things currently occurring that you would have thought, this investment is going to be perfect because I bought it as a safe haven, as a bit of a hedge against things going wrong. And pretty much a lot of things have gone wrong. A lot of things aren't going back to normal as soon as people thought they would. There's continued virus issues, vaccine issues not being perfect, new variants of the virus, economies, having difficulty. There is ginormous stimulus occurring. So there's so many factors. Inflation is strong. So many factors going on that the gold believer is looking at that and thinking, why is my gold stocks not doing well? Why is the gold price getting smacked down? Same with my gold stocks. Why are they getting smacked down? Why is there no love? So I'm sensing it's causing a lot of angst, frustration, possibly bewilderment among some gold believers, and wondering what the heck is going to happen next. Analysts always come up with reasons as to why gold price might have gone up or why gold price might have gone down. Some of the ones in regards to the price going down that I've read about include things like interest rates going up, which would mean the US dollar would be strengthened. Inflation's only transitionary, so it's only during this period of large liquidity, and then it should return back to normal. Young people don't know anything about gold, so the big craze is crypto, and crypto's moving strongly. So why do we even need gold or gold stocks? Because, crypto's where the action is, and it could be considered a safe haven as well. And basically, the economy is strengthening. It's recovering very quickly. So once again, why would you need a safe haven like gold? Now, without getting into an in-depth explanation on economics and differing points of views, taking a step back and just thinking about the world current situation in general, in my mind, the world is not in a better place than it was a few years ago. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's been a lot of money thrown to keep things going. So to keep things looking like they're doing great, the overall stock market's doing great, etc. We paid out so much money in unemployment to make sure that people kept getting paid if they lost their jobs and things like that. So to me, it sort of looks like a false economy. And I asked myself a question: would I like to hold tangible assets such as gold? So a tangible asset is something that is actually real, whereas you can say a fiat currency like the dollar is not an actual tangible asset. Look at tangible assets like real estate lately, land, house, they're real. There's no more land being risen in the earth. So tangible assets hold value. And so gold's a tangible asset. I asked myself, would I like to hold a real tangible asset that has been a source of value or being considered valuable throughout the history of mankind? So through the history of the world, it's been traded with. It's been considered a sought after item, something that is highly treasured. So I asked myself that question: is something like that worth holding? I come up with the answer yes. Others may not, but that's just my thoughts in this current situation. Yes, a tangible asset like gold for me is a good decision, considering what's happening around the world. And one way you can participate in gold strengthening would be to buy gold stocks. So that is one way that you can actually profit if gold remains strong, and if some favor or some interest returns to the gold sector. Now, my beliefs or my thoughts mean absolutely nothing to the gold market, to the price of gold stocks, to where gold's going to go. So the most important lesson that I've learned is don't fight, what the price does. Always look where the current price action is and make your decisions from there. But when I look at the long-term chart of gold, so this is the monthly chart, what we can see is a ginormous rise from 2000 or so, where just the multiples that it rose from 300 and under 300 all the way up to 1900. Unbelievable rise. And where it's currently at is very high. So even at 1750, the price of gold is extremely high in relation to the long-term chart. So we're pretty much right at this level of the first peak around about a decade ago. So 2011, 2012, the price is hanging right around those high areas of that decade ago price highs. So we've taken a while, we've taken 10 years to come back up here. And yes, we're looking at a shallow sort of, retracement, but in the long run, it doesn't look, negative in any way to me. I guess what would be negative if the price came all the way down to sort of halfway from what we sort of have called this cup, if we're looking at a cup and handle pattern. If it came all the way down to, say, under 1500, then yes, that chart would start to look a whole lot more negative, and it wouldn't have the same strength that it has now. But looking at this shallow retracement that's happening over time, if we hold up above this 1500 US mark, who knows? The price could rally any time, and we could see a very sharp rise as gold becomes back in people's view, so back into the spotlight. At the moment, it's not in the spotlight. It's relatively unloved. However, still very strong. I guess the gold price is looking strong, but gold stocks aren't looking as strong. So what to do with our gold stocks? I can't tell anyone whether or not it's a good time to buy gold stocks, whether gold stocks will do well in the near-term future or in the longer-term future. Nobody knows. But my personal strategy is this. I'm looking to buy the best quality gold stocks on the market that, based on my research, I think are the best. So by best, I mean making the best profits, best profit margins, looking at low cost, looking at producers that have hopefully the ability to find new resources so they can continue building their ounces of gold that they have, looking at real quality management. So when I look at the profits that companies are making now, I want to see that this company will do well even if the gold price falls fairly significantly, 100 or 200 US dollars. Even if that happens, they're still making a good profit. So that will create safety if things don't go perfect, but it also gives me very good high quality gold stocks that I will own, and if the gold sentiment returns, should do very, very well. Now, because of the volatility in the gold sector, as we've seen, there's been smackdowns, there's been little interest in gold stocks. Because of that, my strategy has now become a buy and hold type strategy. In the past, I've looked at doing more trading, but because of the current situation in the world, because I think there could be a massive move in gold in the future, I want to be holding as much as I can, keep buying. So my strategy is just to keep buying those quality stocks. If they go down, keep buying them. That's my current strategy, because I don't know how far they'll go down. If they do keep going down, If there's no interest, if there's a sell-off, I will look at as an opportunity for me to buy quality gold stocks, long mine life, generating great returns, being able to find new gold, so great sort of areas that they hold. So looking at that, I would want to just keep increasing my exposure to quality gold stocks. So when or if there's a massive rise in the gold price, which is a definite possibility in the future, then I'm holding as much as I can. And in my mind, it's not something that I'm going to look to sell quickly, because there's a potential for a very strong and longer lasting move in the gold price. But if thinking forward as part of my strategy, if I think prices go to ridiculous level and there's a bit of a bubble, that is when I'll be looking to exit. If irrationality comes in the market, that's when I'll be personally looking to exit. But at the moment, to me, it's more to the downside, where quality stocks are being sold off for no apparent reason, or no logical reason that I can see. So quality stocks are being sold too cheap. So this presents a buying opportunity, in my opinion. And I want to hold until I might see some sort of bubble or some sort of irrational type buying. And then that's the signal I'll take to exit out of my best quality positions. Thanks so much for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts, your personal strategies, if you're interested in the gold sector, or if you're not, if you think it's going to go down. I actually love hearing that as well, because that gives me a great balanced view of people's thoughts. And I need to always hear that, because many times my beliefs can be wrong and often have been wrong. And that helps to keep me sharper as well when I analyze the market. So thanks again, and I wish you all the best.